guys, to another episode of Guerreros Podcast. Today we have another great guest coming all the way from New York City. My name is Jonathan, and today we got Matthew in the set. I'm going to let him talk a little bit about who he is and what he does, and then we're going to get right into a few of the things that I love about alignment. So Matthew, let our audience know what it is that you do out there, man.
Thank you, brother. Well, first of all, bro, I've been following you for about a year now, and it's just been amazing to see your journey. So I appreciate you having me on. And I'm Matthew Wilson. I'm the one of the co-founders of Alignment Real Estate, brokerage out of New York City. And yeah.
So the thing that caught a lot of my attention from you, right? I was like, I'm gonna do my little detective work, right? So I went and started looking at his background, man. And the one thing that really caught my eye was the whole alignment thing that you got, right? So the reason why it caught my eye is because I had a similar experience, right? I until I got some of my pieces together, it wasn't working out. So for you, what was it about alignment, or how long did it take you to figure out that, hey, you need alignment to get things done?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, about 5 years ago now, I was in a really dark place, and I was trying to get my life sorted out. And I said, you know what, if I could just figure out some core values for myself, at least I'll have that and I can kind of navigate life. And so what I came up with was this acronym called ALGIA, ALGIA. And it's a medical term that means to denote pain, like to point out pain. And so basically the meaning behind it is when I'm not living behind this acronym, my life is much more painful. And so ALGIA, the first word in the acronym is alignment. And so when I think back on my life, anytime things have been going well, I've been making positive choices in all areas of my life, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. When everything is aligned, everything is much better. It's much easier to make good decisions and to get momentum. Oh
yeah, I definitely agree with that, man. For you to be able to finally figure out, or because it technically is a cheat code, man. Once you figure out that cheat code of alignment, how has the opportunities and life itself changed for you? Like, what has been the biggest change overall once you figure out your whole alignment?
That's a great question. I would say when you're in alignment, you're being true to who you actually are. And what I've found, because I'm a recovering people pleaser, like all through my 20s, if you like the color blue, I like the color blue, because if I like it and you like it, you got to like me. Yeah. And we all know that doesn't work. So when you're in alignment, you're being true to yourself. And the interesting thing about that is when you are just you give off this energy that people are attracted to. So
the right people.
Yeah, the right people. Exactly. And so since I've been in alignment, I've gotten a lot more high quality people that are coming into my life.
You ever, I don't know if you ever, because you're learning Chinese, right? Not Spanish, but there's this saying that says, and I'll say it in Spanish for the crowd, right? No soy monedita de oro pa caerle bien a todos. Basically means I'm not a golden coin to have everybody like me, right? And that's literally it, man. Like, we cannot be people pleasers. We cannot be pleasing every single individual. We can definitely please the right people, though.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, it's a great feeling when you are just yourself. Yeah. But an even better feeling is being yourself and then people liking you for that, because you know that they like you for who you are. Yeah. So it's yeah.
So what was the Algia, was it?
Yeah.
Alignment.
Algia.
What's after alignment?
Okay. So it's alignment. And then the L is for love, and first for yourself. And I think that this was my problem my whole life. Nobody talked shit about me more than I talked about myself, and nobody lied to me more than I lied to myself. So you got to get to a point where you love yourself. You know, we all have done things in our past or said things, we regret things. You got to figure out how to get yourself to a point where you just let it go. Okay. So you love yourself, and then the other part of that is loving on other people. I'm a firm believer. There's a great book called The 4 Agreements. I'm a firm believer that we're all connected. So if I do something bad to you, I'm actually doing it to myself. So love on yourself, love on other people. The G is for gratitude, and gratitude has changed my life. I picked up this habit about 4 years ago where I think about 2 to 3 things that I'm grateful for when I'm brushing my teeth. So in the morning and at night. And it only took about a month, and it just rewired my brain. I start to think so much more positively.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I'm a firm believer that if you're not grateful for what you have now, you won't get more in the future.
Yeah.
So
and we literally just had that conversation right before we started. And that was one of the things that if you're looking for success clues, that's literally one of them, right? As a lot of the people mentioned, especially in our circle, right? When someone's trying to learn something, or they're trying to come in or at least when I was coming in, trying to learn from all these individuals, right? Yeah. They're like, dude, success leave clues, just look. And this is literally one of them, being grateful, as simple as it sounds. I will honestly challenge anybody to even just try to do that for a week, and see the change. Because for me, even in a week, I see it, man. Every morning or every night, even while you're brushing your teeth. For me, is when I'm showering at the end, right? When I'm doing my cold showers. But for at least 5 days a week, you will need way more of that to stay consistent. But for a week, give it a shot. 2 weeks, give it a shot, and I promise you will see a change in your life. Honestly,
yeah, for sure. And I think that just comes down to, life comes down to perspective. Life literally is what you think it is. So if you practice gratitude and you think life is positive, and you mentioned earlier before the pod about having a good day and saying, if you tell yourself you're going to have a good day, you're going to have a good day. If you tell yourself that you're going to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad day. And if you're sitting there not grateful for shit, then you're not going to get anything. And so it really just comes down to your mindset. So that was the G. The I is for integrity. Not only doing the right thing, but if I tell myself that I'm going to do something, I do it. And once you do that over time, that's the only way to build self-confidence. I tell myself I'm going to work out, I go work out. Because what usually happens, and this was me for most of my life. I'm going to eat right tomorrow. All right. It's starting Monday. I'm going to be on my diet. Okay. I get to about lunchtime and I've already cheated on my diet. I said, you know what? Screw it. I'll start on Tuesday, right? I'll start the next day. And then I messed up on Tuesday. I said, I'll start next week. And that goes on for months. Yeah. And then you feel like shit about yourself. Now, conversely, I say I'm going to work out. I say I'm going to eat right tomorrow. I do it. Okay. And then I tell myself I'm going to work out. And I tell myself I'm going to call these 10 clients. And then I tell myself all these things. And then I do them day after day, week after week. You start to say, wow, I can trust this guy. Yeah. And you start to build self-confidence.
Yeah. So just to add to that, man, I had a conversation with a friend as well. We were talking about getting the wins in throughout the day, right? And I pull out a stack of pennies, right? I put them on my desk and I'm like, literally grabbed the penny and put it on my finger. I was like, can you see that? He's like, barely. I was like, I know, right? Here, can you see that? I was like, nah, I'm starting to see it. And I stacked another 2. I was like, can you see that? I was like, yeah. He's like, those are literally the wins stacking up to the day. It's like at the end of the day, it's like you have a big old stack of wins and you can actually see them. Yeah. Like you actually got something. You finished what you were supposed to. Yeah. I was like you didn't see anything at the beginning, so you didn't get no excitement. But imagine at the end of the day, you actually look at the actual wins that you had. Like, dude, it's that. Just thinking about it right now, I'm getting hyped up. You know what I mean?
I love that analogy. I'm gonna have to steal that from you. And that's why it's difficult. Success is difficult. It's just like losing weight is difficult. To your point, you have to have belief in the beginning, because you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to make money and you want to be this person. You have to trust that these actions that you're taking on a daily basis, that you may not see any signs of growth or moving forward. You have to trust that it's going to be there. And to your point earlier about success leave clues, it does. This is not hard. It's very simple. It's 1 + 1 = 2 and just repeating the steps. But we make it hard. Us as humans, we're emotional. We have bad days and then we get off course and then we have negative self-talk. So it really just comes down to mindset.
Dude, I'm loving this conversation right now, just on the word alignment itself, because it's literally, like I said, it literally attracted me, right? Because same thing for me, man. Until things started aligning, it's like it was all chaos. But to add to what you just said, one thing that I learned was your thoughts. And it's TEAR, right? That's the acronym, TEAR, TEAR. Your thoughts influence your emotions influence your actions, and your actions influence your results. And in turn, those results influence your thoughts, right? So like in the beginning, like when you wake up, right, and you have that good thought, like, dude, you're already waking up on the good side of the bed. All right, dude. Well, if you're having good thoughts, how are you going to feel emotionally? Good, right? And if you're already feeling good emotionally, your actions can only be what? Good. And if you're having good actions, you can only get good results. And even if you don't get good results, you know that you tried to do the good stuff and you gave it your best. So you should have at least some kind of experience that you learn from, right? To get a good result out of it. So if you repeat that cycle through, in a way that you're winning all the way through, dude, I kid you not, the days have been so much better when I learned that, because I was like, dude, if I'm already waking up on the wrong side of the freaking bed, like that's not okay, you know?
Yeah, I would say that, you know, it comes down to your perspective, you know, and your perspective comes from your thoughts. And, you know, there are days you wake up and you wake up feeling good. But I would say, at least for me, most days you wake up and you don't feel good, you know, whether it's mentally, physically, maybe emotionally. The key there is to have practices set in place that'll help your mindset. So I believe the mind is like a garden, and a garden that's not tended to, the weeds will grow. So if you're not putting in positive thoughts into your mind, you're screwed, because I believe that the default of the human mind is negative. So you have to put in positive things. And a lot of days I wake up feeling like shit, but I'll sit there and do my meditation. I'll journal. I'll read from a few books that I read from every morning, and then I'll go hit the gym. And every day after I've left the gym, no matter how I felt when I first woke up, I'm feeling better, you know, but it takes trial and error. And I would say that's when people ask me, you know, I want to lose weight, or I want to do a business, or whatever. I always start with figure out something to do in the morning that can get your mind right. Because if you get your mind right, like the circle, then you have a much better chance of it succeeding at whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah, dude, that's beautiful. Like I said, I'm loving the conversation, because I just see like my life as I'm going through the journey right now. I'm like, dude, same thing. It's like I try to do day trading. I try to do all this, and everything that we do is hard. No matter what you try to do, at the end of I try to do everything from automotive tech, like all this construction stuff. Like, I don't like this job. It's too hard. Or I don't want to do this. It's too hard. It literally just comes down to pick your freaking heart, man.
Pick your heart. Exactly.
It doesn't really matter what you want to do. It's going to be hard. If you want to grow and actually be one of the top of the best, it takes a lot, and it's not going to be an easy road, right?
Yeah.
So pick your heart, man.
Pick your heart. I love that phrase. And, you know, people come to me and it's like, you know, should I get into trading, or should I be a commercial agent, or should I get into mortgage, or should I, you know, all these things. And I say, what's the best way, you know, to generate wealth or be successful? And I say, yes. Because it doesn't matter. You pick one, like you said, and you just stick to it. Yeah. You know, life is like success is like a hockey stick. I have a hockey stick back in the office in New York City, and I show my team all the time. Success goes like this for a long time, right? And you got to just stay with it. Stay with the hard, whatever industry you're in, whatever job you're in, whether it's trading, whatever, it's going to be hard, but you'll figure it out, right? Because you're improving off of here, not back here. And then eventually it turns up just like the hockey stick. But you got to stick to it.
That's nice right there, man.
Yeah.
So we're on N.
We just did integrity. I, so that's integrity. And then I rounded out with the second A is for action. And all the other words in the acronym are great, but if you're not taking action, then it's a moot point. And action was hard for me for a long time. You know, I would have, and I think we all, to a certain extent, have this vision of the person we can become in our mind. And I had him there for a long time, and I never did anything about it. And there's this sort of happiness gap where you have this person you want to be, and this is where you are. And if you're not taking action to close that, that's where I think depression comes in. But as you work to close that gap, you know, there's fulfillment. And so that's why action's such a big thing for me. And, you know, alignment got started because about 18 months ago, I was at a place where I had read every self-help book, I've watched everything you could watch on YouTube. I've taken courses, whatever, and I wasn't doing anything. I was there's the term, a success zombie. And now I heard that term and I said, fuck, man, that is me.
You want to hear another one?
Yeah.
And that one I heard it here in the office. And I still can't remember who said it, but if anybody ever finds out, please let me know because I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah. But they said, don't turn the self-help into shelf-help. Shelf-help,
exactly. That's a
great
one.
I was like, ooh, yeah. Dude, the action, dude. You got to take action.
And that's what I was doing. And so alignment actually got started where I was just so uncomfortable in my own skin. Mm-hmm. Like I've learned all these things. I think I can become this person, but I'm not doing anything about it. And so I woke up a Friday morning, I called my boss and said, hey, this is the day I'm going to quit. And so, when I was young, I thought, I truly thought that if you make $100,000, you are rich. I grew up very poor in rural New Hampshire, and I really thought that. And then I got there and I said, wow, I'm broke. And so I quit that 6-figure job. And, life is very interesting when you make a big decision and the universe kind of gets out of your way and bring things to you. And then, so shortly after quitting, my now partner, my now founder, as soon as she heard that I was quitting my job, and we used to do a lot of business together, she called me right away. She said, we need to meet. And, so we meet, and she's my partner, Tsunami. She's from Shanghai, China, this little 80-pound just machine in the real estate industry in New York City. And she was like, no, you have to stay. We're doing this. And through that conversation, she knew I wasn't going to stay. And she knew that my conviction, I was going to go out, I was going to do something. And once she felt that we then started talking about doing something together. And so alignment, to a point in the beginning, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, it's also me and Tsunami aligning different cultures, aligning different sexes, aligning different people from all sorts of backgrounds. I have agents from all over the world at alignment. One of my agents, Shaka's from Uzbekistan, Jordan's from Tel Aviv, Tsunami's from Shanghai, Jessica's from Taiwan. Rosie, the backbone of our company, is like the operations managers from the Dominican Republic. So it's just all these different types of people that all have great souls and great energy, and we're all aligned to, grow this thing.
Yeah, so let me ask you, to be able to align everybody to your core values, right?
Yeah.
It was 4 core values, if I remember correctly, that you had, was it?
So my core value, so that's the Algia is my personal kind of view on life. My core values for alignment speak out, choose, and it's constant growth and improvement, humble cohesiveness, optimistically problem solve, over deliver, selfless gratitude, and enthusiasm.
Wow.
So that's kind of that's the core of alignment. That's the culture at alignment.
So how are you able to implement that culture in alignment?
It's a great question, and I think that Vince Lombardi says it best about leadership. And leading by example isn't the best way to lead; it's the only way. And so I do my best every day to embody the core values, and I hopefully my agents follow that and they take that energy. And part of it is some people, to what we were talking about in the beginning, not everyone's going to like you. Alignment's not going to be for everybody, but for the people that it is for, they'll come into the culture and enhance the culture.
And I was about to ask you, how do you get people to be part of the whole thing? But literally, that's what it is, man. It's not for everybody.
Yeah,
so it's just for the right people.
It's not for everybody. And I heard this great analogy: the tugboat versus lighthouse. You heard this?
I have not.
So tugboat versus a lighthouse. So a tugboat, it can go out and save a capsized ship. One at it. It can go out, grab it, and bring it back. It uses a lot of fuel, takes a lot of time. Versus the lighthouse just stands there on the shore, shines its light, and all the boats can come to it. And once I heard that, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna be this person, right? Through I exercise every day, through my discipline, just embody the culture. I think that is the best way to go about trying to build the culture in your company. You just be what you're trying to build. And then the people that are right for it, that see the light, will be drawn to it.
Nice. Well, like I said, it's like the right people. And then not to say that it's the right people, but it's just the right people for that.
Exactly.
Right?
The right
people
for it.
For you, what was it? Because I want to talk a little bit about your the hardships, brother, because there's a lot of situations where well, at least for the individuals that we come across, we're freaking crushing through these problems, right? But like for the people out there, man, that see adversity and they don't know how to take that in, or the challenges that come their way. Earlier, we were having the conversation, right? We were talking about all this stuff is just the opportunities to be better, get growth. They're not necessarily for you to, they're meant for you to fail, but out of that failure, like good things can happen, right? Like for you, man, what is it? Oh, dang, I forgot my question, but even then, man, just that part alone of being able to pull through challenges. How do you let people know, or like, how will you explain to people that, hey, like embrace this stuff?
So there's a quote that I absolutely love, and it goes, sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think that you've been buried, but actually you've been planted. And I love that quote because without exception, you've been through hard times. I've been through hard times. Everybody, that's part of the life experience. And the key is, if you learn from something, it all goes back to your mindset, what I said earlier. Your perspective is life. So if you think that this thing that happened to you is a terrible thing, then it is. But if you think that this terrible thing that happened to you, actually, you learned a lot from it. So if you learn something from it, it's actually a positive. And that's the key. If you can do that in all areas of your life, for me, and this has been true in my life, you'll gain some success. You'll be much more fulfilled. And a lot of my life, I was the opposite. I thought that all the bad shit was unfair. And it's just your perspective.
I was gonna say, you're gonna have to repeat that thing you said earlier. Yeah, you think you've been buried, but you actually been planted.
Yeah, it's sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think that you've been buried, but actually you've been planted. And if I look back through every bad thing that's ever happened to me, it's actually all been positive, because life is funny. When something really bad happens, usually something really good happens right afterwards. And you just have to, it's hard. It's hard for a lot of people. Our society is a negative society. You look at the news, you look at it.
So easy.
Yeah. it's so easy to be negative. Yeah. And also people will coddle you, and people fall into that. Like, I'm going to be negative because this person will feel bad for me. They'll pat me on the back, but it's not conducive to your own success. And so it's just mindset. Life literally is what you think it is.
Yeah. That was just beautiful, because I mean, we all definitely get in the darkest of places. We all get put through the challenges. And one of the interviews that I had was with Roberto, and he was like, dude, I get put through all this stuff, right? And I literally just made a post today, and it was like, all these challenges happen, all this stuff happened, and it's like, why me, right? Like, fuck, like, complaining about it. And then he goes, but why not me? And it's like, yeah, dude, why not you? Think about it. All this stuff that you're getting in front of you was because either you asked for a change in your life and now you're getting tested for it, or you're going through life itself and you don't even know, but you're getting put through this to become something better. Like, you're actually getting aligned with what your purpose is. And instead of complaining and actually bitching, which is what most people do, right? It's easy. Figure out what the actual challenge of that is. Figure out what the actual lesson of that challenge is, right? And dude, when he said that, I was like, yeah, dude, why not me? Because I mean, even myself, like I said, I almost got my foot pretty close to having my foot amputated below the knee, getting stabbed. And I'm here like, dude, why me? Like, why not me, man? After that, like, actually, after I sat down and thought about all those things that happened to me, and I was like, wow, that actually made me a better son. That made me a better person. Not the perfect, right? Because I don't even believe in perfect either way. But at least it made me that much better. Yeah. And then, you go through this phase of fighting the challenge, fighting that adversity. And then if you just give into it and actually work at taking care of the challenge, dude, like, if you actually just work through it, don't be mad, just work through it. Like you said earlier, the beautiful thing is right after that, it's like that storm disappears and it's so it's not like the best thing ever, but it is. The rain is gone and it's so beautiful after that, man. Man, we, it's great being here in California because the weather's so great, right? It's so sunny, but we only appreciate the sun because of the rainy days. And,
the harder your life is, if you get on the other side of it, you're actually going to be, you're going to have more value to it. I grew up extremely poor. So when I go to dinner now, and now I never thought my life would be where it's at growing up. And so I'm blessed to be at a great place. And, we had a great dinner last night, and even every single time without fail, I said, man, this is great, because I remember not being able to afford McDonald's. I remember not having food in the house. I drink Diet Cokes all the time, and people always joke on me. But the reason I drink is because for a long time, that's all we had in the fridge when I was young. But because of those things, I'm super grateful when I go out to dinner to a nice restaurant and have these experiences. I used to, when I was young, when I was in my 20s, I would look at, I live in New York City. I've been there for 15 years. I would look at these finance guys, right? They came from money. Their dad owns this company, they get this job. And I'll be like, man, that's bullshit. Like, how come they get that? But now as they get older, I feel bad for some of them, because without struggle, you don't appreciate it. So they never really struggled. So all the things that they have, that's all they've only known. So there's no value in that.
They really can't go past what you already have in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Like you can see what the bad thing of it is, but if you never experience that bad thing, like you really don't know.
No, I see when people go through some bad stuff, I say, man, they're so lucky. They're so lucky, because once they get on the other side of that, they're going to be so much better. And
you can see that though, right? Like, because you're on the outside of that box.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing when you're outside of the box and you see people going through it and actually make it through.
Yeah.
Right. That you're like, wow, man, that's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And just to share a little bit of experience, when I was sleeping in a freaking couch, on my friend's couch, for about 6 months, while my family was at my in-laws, because I had to stay up and take care of the business right up North Cal. But dude, I was telling him, I was like, bro, remember, like, we were just sitting in your freaking dinner table crying because life sucked.
Yeah.
And I was like, look at you now, bro. Like, you became a freaking engineer, an engineer in your department of what you do, right? From getting paid shit to now you getting paid what you deserve, right? To what you want. And here I am, freaking sleeping on a couch, to now being able to have a house and my family in my house. And I was like, that was literally...
How much do you appreciate that house from living on that, mattress or on that couch?
It is, like I said, it's just that much sweeter, that much better. Because I walk into the house, man, and it's like, yeah, this is me, dude. Like, I don't have to go bug anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I know I didn't bug him, because it was amazing. He's still up to this day, man, still has my back. But it's like, I don't have to be at nobody's couch. I don't have to be bugging someone's life. I don't have to be that extra baggage of, oh fuck, I gotta go home and see this guy. I know he didn't feel that, but it's just as a person that you're not even paying rent. Like at that, I wasn't paying rent. He was freaking feeding me, So to be able to be in a position that now I'm able to feed people and take care of my family and be the breadwinner and be able to freaking not be in a couch.
Yeah.
Like you said, it just makes it so much sweeter, man.
No, man, that's why it's been great to watch your journey, because it's when you go through those struggles and you get to the other side of it, you appreciate things much more.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people that, strive to elevate their lives, they come from hardship. Most of us have gone through a lot of shit. And once you can get on the other side of that, you kind of use that as fuel to keep moving forward.
Yeah. I feel it, man. It's beautiful, man. Like I said, it literally, the whole alignment thing that you got going on comes down to basically my life, man. Because until I aligned myself, until I aligned the right people, the right community, like growth wasn't there. Until I aligned myself with the right coach, Albert, shout out to you. Until I and Sil, man. We never say Sil, but Sil, you're a part of it.
Yeah.
But until I aligned myself with the right coaches, the right individuals, the right group of people, there was really no growth for me. There was it was like you say, it was just okay, I was stagnant, like getting tired of the journey.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying the crap out of it, man. Every single day. There's days where I wake up and I'm like, damn, dude, like I could have sworn I had money in the bank. And then I was like, whatever, man, I'm gonna go about my day. And then I look at the end of the day and it's like, oh, there was money. Okay, cool. Like it's just that flow, like that circulation of everything that's happening throughout the day, from the money to the talks to the networking to the building relationships, all this stuff, man. It's just like I said, alignment itself is a beautiful thing.
Thank you. It's been a fun journey. We're still a very young company, but we're doing a lot of great things, and we're doing a lot of great things that don't necessarily have to do with real estate. I think the culture that we're building at Alignment is going to differentiate us between other brokerages. And so it's very exciting. And
I was going to say, do you want to share some of the ideas or some of the stuff that you want to do with Alignment in the future? Or like, because I don't want to bust them out, if you can't. But it would be like, dude, I mean, it's just an amazing thing to be your blue ocean strategy, I don't want to put it out there.
So I think my marketing director would kill me if I put some of the stuff out there. But what I love about Alignment, I used to be in college basketball coaching, and I loved it when I was really young. And I wasn't, it wasn't for me. When I was coming up, I had a lot of friends that just had basketball minds. It wasn't for me. I wasn't that good. I didn't have a basketball mind. I didn't know the game that well. My college roommate is the number one NBA trainer now, Chris Brickley, and he knows the game. I wasn't like that. But what I did love about coaching was the camaraderie, with the players and just being tight with them and, going through experiences. You're in the locker room, you go into the games. And so what I've replicated at Alignment is the same thing. We have that bond as you would find on a basketball team. We're all very close. We do all these things together. We work out together all the time. So I've tried to take the things that I loved about college basketball and implement them into Alignment. I think this makes it very different from a lot of the other brokerages that I know.
Nice. Yeah, man. I don't know about doing the same thing as everybody, because there's no growth, right?
Yeah,
but it's hearing you that you got plans to not only be better but not be the same. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, wish we could share with you guys, but the marketing director's here too, and I'm not trying to get killed with him.
Don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to get in trouble. Yeah. Dude, I definitely left it out, but where can we find you on your socials, brother?
Sure. So Alignment is Alignment NY on Instagram, and then I'm the same on everything: Facebook, Instagram, nice. LinkedIn. It's Matthew Mathiew Wilson Wilson.
Nice, thank you, Matthew, for that. And then the other thing I wanted to ask: if there's one person out there, right? Because it's not gonna be for everybody, just the right person.
Yeah.
How or what would you say to them if they're just starting off to kind of like what you said? It's like, dude, I seen you starting your journey, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you see Jonathan at the beginning, you're like, if there was a piece of advice that you could give me when I was barely starting off, or like when you barely seen me, what would it be?
It's a great question. It's something that I've thought about a lot, and I really come down to the same answer every time, and focus on your mindset. Because all the obstacles you're going to run into, all the bad shit that's going to happen in your life, and this is not a negative thing, but that's going to happen because that's life.
Yeah.
How you perceive it is going to make the difference. So I would say focus on your mindset, get your mindset right, and it doesn't matter what comes your way. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I got excited because if you see this background, literally we were going through the backgrounds with Anthony trying to see what it was, man. I'm like, dude, today's going to be about alignment. And before the alignment comes, we have all this in our head, just all this fog, all this smoke, literally the background, what you see, right?
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing about this is literally giving you the secret sauce right here. Get your mind straight. A clear mind will definitely get you aligned with where you want to go, man, because like there's no way in the world where we can move forward to the growth, to our purpose, if our mind is looking like this background right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny because and my mind was like that for a long time. It was a pinball machine. Yeah. It was just all over the place. I have all these thoughts. I have to do all these things. I was never where my feet were.
Oh,
so once you get everything aligned, then you're here. Like I'm here in this room. We're having a conversation, but that only comes when you got to calm your mind down and get everything in alignment.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Let me ask you this other thing because I'm always interested. Sure. And how much time do we have, Anthony?
We've been going for 36 minutes.
Okay, cool. No, dude, like I don't want, because this guy I don't want to keep. I know we got to go back into the whole meeting with the group, right? But I'm always interested on people and their change when it comes to their group of friends, right? Because I mean, I still talk to the same people. I haven't hung out with the same group of friends in a long time. I still talk to them. But for you, do you have to make like a big change like that?
About the people that are surrounded you,
Yeah.
i.e. 1,000%. You know, I think that
There's an extra zero on that again.
1,000%. You look at somebody's friends and that'll dictate their future. You know, if you got 5 friends that are marathon runners, there's a good chance you're probably going to run a marathon. If you have 5 friends that are alcoholics, there's a good chance you're going to start, drinking. My life has drastically improved through the stages when I surrounded myself with more high quality people. And that's really hard. You know, people say it's lonely at the top. And I hate that. I hate that phrase because one, I don't think you're ever at the top. You know, you're always improving. But it's actually the loneliest part is when you decide I'm going to improve my life. And you start to improve your life and you're making positive decisions that you weren't making before. And then all the people that you used to hang around with, they don't like that, right? Because now you're reflecting onto them what they could be doing. And so then there's a little bit of separation and that part is lonely. But as you improve and, you get involved with groups like we're involved with, you start to meet more high quality people. And once you're making more positive decisions, get yourself around more positive people, those relationships are actually stronger than these superficial ones that you had, when you're younger out drinking or whatever. So when I started getting more high quality people around me, my life just drastically improved. And I have some very distinct people throughout the way that have come to mind. But yeah, it's a very impactful thing with who's around you.
Yeah, I totally forgot that there's that period of time where you're actually lonely. Yeah, because you're kind of going through that journey by yourself, finding yourself, and then through that you find yourself, right, and then people start finding you. Yeah, and it is a very lonely section of life, man. Like there's no one you can call, there's no one you can text, other than, I mean, if you have a spouse, right? But even then, or your wife or your husband, like you're trying to talk about these ideas and they're not part of that. Yeah, they get bored of it. But there's a point where you cross that threshold of loneliness. Yeah. And then you start meeting the right people for you, the right circle, the right individuals, the right mentors. Yeah. It's just
it's super important, and especially once you get yourself around, people at a higher consciousness, people that are more successful than you are. I remember when I was so I grew up very, very poor in Hillsborough, New Hampshire, and I went off to college, and I met this kid. His name's Chris Brickley, and he was my college roommate, and he was great at basketball at the time, and he ended up going on to Louisville, and then. Now he's become the #1 NBA trainer. And I remember back then how he would talk. He would talk about his success and what it's going to be in the future, 5, 10, and 15, 20 years from now. And I remember thinking like, man, is this guy, because I never thought that way. But now as I've seen him, become the #1 NBA trainer and have all this success, I now believe in manifestation because of him, because I remember in college how he would talk. And, that was my first exposure to somebody at a higher consciousness, at a higher level than me.
Frequency, right?
Yeah. And so, that's really helped. And, I say that to say you have to audit who's around you. And I do this with myself all the time. Like if you are a negative person, you will not be around me. I don't care who you are.
That means yourself too, right?
That means myself too, is the #1 myself for
That's
sure.
Right. Dude, oh man, it caught me off guard because I had to say that comment. But why did I forget the damn thing, dude? I was trying to pinpoint it and hold it down and I couldn't. Darn it. It was gonna be a good one too.
But that's why, meeting Albert, getting these types of groups is so powerful, because a lot of times our society is not all about success, and it's not about improving yourself. Most people, and I have no problem with this, are 9 to 5 people. It's Monday through Friday. I go to work, I go home, I eat whatever, maybe I watch some Netflix, and I look forward to the weekend. I go out and drink or whatever. That's not me. And so what I found in life, these groups are beneficial, is because you get around people that are thinking the same way that you're thinking. They want to improve their lives. They're doing this. You can compare notes. So for me, it's been lonely a little bit in life. And it's been difficult at some points to get myself around good people. Even living in New York City, people are just kind of like almost zombies just floating through. Go to work, I go home, I go to work, I go home. And if I sit there and I want to talk about success and I want to talk about improvement, or what's the most recent book you read? It's like, we want to talk about the fucking Jets game.
The stuff that doesn't what was it? No productiveness to them. Yeah. But I just remember what it was going to be. So
good. I went on that whole tangent to try to remind you.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, dude, what was it? But it was a good one. So you were talking about now you see how your friend did the whole manifestation part, right?
Yeah.
So back then, if I was to ask you this question, right, you're probably it's going to be like in total opposite ends, right? But right now, if I ask you, hey, Matthew, that future you, if you was to, and we did this at the Infinite Growth Expo with life coach Jesse, but he goes, if you was to close your eyes and visualize that future you, smell it, see it, hear it, basically all your senses, right? How far is that person? How far is that Matthew from you? Like if you was to close your eyes, like if you was to put a distance on it, how far is that guy from you?
It's an interesting thing to think about. And he's not that far away. If you would have asked me a few years ago, I would have said, maybe 10 years from now, I got to do X, Y, and Z. But, I think a lot of times in life, things are not as far away as you think they are. And it might be like that. And that's the beauty of improving each day. There's a compound effect on the improvement. You're not improving off of a year ago. If you've improved every day, you're improving off the exponential improvement of yesterday. And so that future version of yourself, to give you a straight answer, I think you don't ever get there. And this is what happens to me. You grow and improve and you say, wow, I can now do this thing. Okay, well, now I'm here. What else can I do?
I was about to say, you just said that too. Yeah.
That was, that's why I started to learn Chinese. That's why I've tried to learn do all these different things, is because I never want to stop. Because if you stop, for me, that is, where things like depression seep in, where, sadness seep in. You have to constantly be constant growth and improvement.
Yeah, have a circulation of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like stagnant water. Like what happens to water that doesn't move?
Exactly.
It goes bad.
Yeah.
Right. And then here's the other thing that you keep mentioning. And there's another quote, and I wish dude, I'm really bad with remembering names, but it was from my history teacher. He said, he wrote every morning he would have a quote on there, right? And one of them was, the road to success is always under construction. Right. So like you said, you're never at the top. Like you're always constantly building, constantly working, always putting something in. You never know. You might need a certain trade, or you might need a certain language. You might need something. Like there's always something to do to be able to keep moving and not stay stagnant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And everybody, and it's different for everybody. Success is an intimate thing. Because what you think it is different than what I think it is, different than what Jessica thinks it is. Success is very, for me, is if you have this ideal of yourself or this business you want to start, or you get your business to a certain point and you're actively working towards becoming that person, that's success.
Yeah.
That's all it is just get out there and improve.
1% better every day.
1% better every day.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, that's 365%.
Yeah.
That's a stack of pennies I'm talking about,
that's
right?
a huge stack of pennies.
Dude, this is beautiful today, man. Matt just had his 6-hour flight. I had my 3 hour, because I stopped midpoint. 3-hour drive. We're finally at the Driven headquarters, man. And the exciting part about this is Matt has seen, and we were having this conversation, man. You never know who's looking, right? And Matt was just saying, dude, I seen you evolve, and I remember you from a year ago, and I'm like, oh shit, that's right. I've been in a journey for a while, right? I've been in those rooms for a while, and for you to see growth in any individual, what does that help you see in the rooms that you're in, right? So if you're seeing me grow and you're seeing other people grow, what would you want to be in rooms like that?
Well, it goes back, to getting around more like-minded people like you that are success driven and want to grow and want to improve. You know, the reason I get into these rooms is to be around those types of people. And, you know, something interesting happened the first time I came out here to meet Albert at one of his masterminds. And he asked me, what are you trying to do? You know, what's alignment about or whatever? And I said, you know, we're building $100 million brokerage. And he goes, okay, well, this is how you're going to do it. And this is what you need to do it. And I was almost taken back because most of the time when you talk about your success or the things you want to do, you get people in life that either laugh at you, they say that's not for you, they ridicule you, and they make fun of you. And so when Albert, you know, without blinking an eye said, yeah, of course you're going to do that, but this is how you're going to do it. It like flipped a switch in me. It's like, for me, it's like, I need to be around more people like this. Yeah. More people that are like, fuck yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is how I did it. And here's how you can do it too.
Yeah, and the accountability part of it, because when you ask a certain individual or you give your word to, I mean, just your word in general, you know, you're holding yourself accountable as well as having someone look at you, and if you don't come through and it's like, all right, what the fuck, you just wasted my time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Albert's like, do you buy your Ferrari yet? I'm like, dude, leave me alone. And he texts me again the next day. No, but it's but that's the great thing about being around like-minded people is like you said, they do hold you accountable. And you know, it's been a blessing to meet you and to meet everybody else in the group. It's been again, on days where I feel like shit, if I see you, I'm like, damn, this dude's grinding. Like he's doing this and this. I got to go out and do this and this too. Yeah. So it's been awesome, bro.
Yeah, it is. So right after this, we're going to go meet even more new people because I believe Albert said there's going to be a whole bunch of new people coming in.
Yeah.
The room that we're in today, it's not a 5K mastermind. It's a 30K inner circle.
An expensive
expensive inner circle.
Taiguela.
What's like Taiguela?
Taiguela is too expensive.
There you go, man. We're learning Mandarin right here. So to be, dude.
Let me teach you something in Mandarin real quick.
Let's go.
Okay. It's ba 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 fa fa fa.
Ba ba ba
and
fa fa fa
is the number 8. Okay. And fa means to make a lot of money. So that's why the slot machines and the number 8 is so lucky in Chinese because it's like the infinitive making a lot of money. So ba 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 fa fa fa.
I'm gonna have my in-law say that every time she goes to the casino. Ba 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 fa 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 fa.
They make a lot of money.
You know what she does? She actually has like this little oil with and he knows about this. This little saint that we have, San Juditas, this green saint, and she pulls the oil and she's like, there's a little prayer, and then walks out and we're like, hey, I think your mom's going to the casino. I smell the oil, and we walk in and she's like, yep, she's getting ready.
That's hilarious.
But you know, it kind of reminds me of that, like can you say it again?
Ba 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 fa fa fa.
There you go. So, I mean, do you have anything that you do something like that for yourself where you gotta repeat either a quote or a phrase to kind of just, you know, not necessarily to make money, but to align yourself?
You know, I do, and a lot of people use like rah motivation, and it doesn't really work for me that well. When I was 12, my dad and my mom had split up when I was really young, and we moved to New Hampshire. My dad had come back into the picture for a little bit, and when I was 12, I came home from school and he was packing up his truck, and he goes, I was living in New Hampshire at the time. He goes, "You can't make money in this state. I'm gonna move to Florida," and that was the last time I saw him. When I get into a hard place, I just repeat, you can't make money in this state. Like if I'm in a hard workout or I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I want to do this. I just repeat that shit in my head. And then, you know, so I like to go to a dark place where, you know, that's one example. I have 10 other ones that I'll repeat to myself of maybe something that somebody said or something that happened to me. And I'll just say it to myself and it'll switch a gear.
Yeah, that's my blacklist right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who I heard talking about that, but it was like you gotta. Patrick David, I think he said he has a book or like a list of stuff like that where he reminds himself, it's like, yeah, this person, I look at them, you know, and not necessarily to say look at them. It just to me is more like look at me. Like you say I couldn't, but
just watch me.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Yeah. Continue to watch me actually, because it's still going. There's still more progress to happen on this journey.
Yeah.
So here's one of the questions that I always have to ask. What do you think? What does it mean to be a guerrero to you? Guerrero.
And that's
Now you gotta learn Spanish, bro.
Yeah.
Guerrero.
See, so my Rosie, Dominican girl that works for Alignment, she always calls me a blanquito, and like and I can't roll the R's, so I had to have a hard time with Spanish. But Guerrero.
There, we'll take it, man. Next time we're gonna hear the.
And what does Guerrero mean?
Guerrero means warrior.
Warrior.
A warrior, man. A warrior.
What does it take to be a warrior? A guerrero?
Yeah, no, what does it mean to be a warrior to you? Yeah, to you, because like you said, man, you come from poverty. You come from. I mean, like now, if people see you, you're like, oh, dude, that fucking guy, I got it in the silver spoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you get to a point because nobody sees the struggle. They only see you where you're currently at, especially if they just met you.
Yeah.
But to get to the point where you're at now, you need to have a freaking warrior in you. Bro.
Yeah.
You need to have something in you to be able to push you to what you're doing today, right? So for you, what is that warrior? What does it mean to be a warrior, a guerrero?
It's a great question, and I love the word. I would go back again to your mindset. Like if you have a warrior mindset where you're not going to give up, everything has a solution. So no matter what the fuck happens to you, you could figure it out. And so that's why I tell myself all the time, this happened. Okay, good. Here's the solutions. All right, boom. We did that. Now let's move on. And to be a warrior, you're going to need to have some scars. And how you react to the cut and how you're going to move forward will dictate, your outcome. So I would say, again, it goes back to the mindset. You have a problem-solving, optimistic warrior mindset, then you're a guerrero.
Yeah, that's what we have to do, man. Solve problems.
Yeah.
Dude, that's beautiful. Now, let me ask you this. Do you ever have to, because the word over delivery kicked in right now. Mm-hmm. Do you ever have to, like, over deliver on yourself to get that mental state right? You know what I mean? Like, do you ever have to do certain something to yourself to be able to get or over deliver yourself in a better place?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm fascinated by the mind. I'm fascinated by how mind works, how yours works, consciousness. And it depends, it depends on where I'm at, what state I'm at, how my mindset is, if maybe I need to tell myself some positive stuff. Maybe I need to remind myself of why I'm building alignment. I need to remind myself of, any number of positive things. Or do I need to think about when I was 7 and 8 years old, crying myself to sleep because I didn't know why all these things were happening? Do I need to go back to that place to get myself in the right frame of mind to move forward? So it depends, I don't think there's one specific answer. A lot has to do with the current state of where I'm at, of what I'm going to start to tell myself.
Beautiful, man.
And if something doesn't work, I'll just go through the Rolodex until something does.
And then also the one thing that's really, really nice right now, you keep saying every time you mention the past, right now, like, oh, maybe I got to think about this. And it was like a bad thing. It's like, anytime you think about the past, it should only be to freaking push yourself to the future. Don't freaking think about the past and stay there. Yeah. Like every time, I'm telling you, man, every time you say something, it's like, yeah, man, I got to think about this. Or, boom, push yourself forward. Yeah. Oh, is this situation on this bad place? Boom. Like it's just that's what the past should be. Your stepping stones or that spring freaking board to push you and elevate you to that next level.
Yeah, man. Every bad thing that's ever happened to you can be used as fuel if you just think about it the right way.
That's right. Yeah. So there you guys have it. Another great episode in Guerrero's podcast. If there's any questions from my boy Matt out here, please feel free to drop them on the comments. Don't forget to follow and watch, because this is definitely the alignment part and the mentality part. For me, that's another big one. So please don't forget to watch. And Matt, thank you again, brother. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, brother.
And
thank you.
Let's go meet all these great people out here, man.
Let's go. Alignment NY.
That's right. And Guerrero's podcast. Let's go. Beautiful.